Hello and welcome to the Spyrosoft Making It Easy webinar series. I'm your host for today. My name's Toby Pestridge. I'm the Creative Director at Spyrosoft Limited here in Bournemouth on the south coast of the UK. Today we're going to be looking at how to use AI in UX design. Some aspects, not all. We're not going to be covering huge in-depth elements of every aspect of AI just because it's too big. But hopefully there'll be something for everybody working in these sectors today. So the first thing obviously to say is that AI is everywhere. I'd be very surprised if you haven't come across one aspect of AI that hasn't influenced your life, affected your life, the way you work, the way you live, the way you play. It's a very interesting time at the moment. Just last week, the American President Biden signed into order an executive order to oversee and invest in the future of AI, which means it's only going to increase further. Good old Elon Musk has told us that we're all going to lose our jobs to AI. It's just going to take over completely and we won't have to work anymore, which is quite nice. And also, Leica, as camera manufacturer, has produced a new camera that inserts a watermark stamp that identifies photographs as being genuine because some people have tried to manipulate systems and submit photographs into competitions that have been edited, tweaked, enhanced a little bit by AI or things like Photoshop. And now Leica is saying, well, we can stamp that out and we can authorize images within cameras to stop that from happening. There are many other bizarre parts of life that have been impacted by AI. For example, you can go out today and buy an AI-powered toothbrush, should you wish. Other brands are available. Oral-B was the one that popped into my search result here. Why you need AI to tell you how to brush your teeth better or more effectively, I don't know. But it's there and it exists. A lot of this is experimentation and just proving that things are possible and can be done. Google have created something called Dermassist, which is a very clever bit of kit, which actually uses AI to identify skin conditions using a phone camera, which is pretty cool. That's a very good use of AI nowadays. And moving back into the UI, UX design world, you can use something like this service, which is called UIZ. Maybe somebody in the chat can help with that pronunciation. But it's a text prompt-based design tool. So you could type in that you wanted a certain wireframe or a series of screens to design a login process, and it will create that for you. What you do with that then is up to you. But none of this is new. So if we wind the clock back to 2016, IBM have an AI engine called Watson, a very clever bit of kit, and what they wanted to do was a test case to see if they could get their AI engine to create something based on what they put into it. So somebody had the idea of creating a movie trailer. Morgan was the movie they chose, ironically about an AI system that runs wild and starts hurting people. Elon Musk, take note. And they fed Watson a whole bunch of movie trailers. They let it watch them and it consumed them. Then they fed it the whole of this movie and they told it to create a new trailer for this movie based on other trailers it had seen. So it watched the whole movie and it chose certain sections in certain orders that should go into the trailer. They did it, they released it, the trailer's pretty good. Movie, maybe not so much. But it shows what's possible when you allow an AI system to create things. Let's rewind the clock even further back. If we go back to the 1970s, the chap here on the screen is called Harold Cohen. He created a computer which he called Aaron to draw and paint and create art. Now, not screen-based, this computer could actually use real pens and ink and paint and create on canvases. You can see on the right there, it's quite a sizable piece of kit. And he taught this thing to properly create pieces of art. Now, if I show you these two pictures now on your screen, and I asked most people to try and guess which one was created by an AI and which one was created by a human being, you might struggle to pick these two. Now, I have deliberately picked two that look very similar. You can put in the chat perhaps which one you think was created by Aaron, the computer system, which one was created by humans. But I think a lot of people at a rough guess would struggle to pick which one it was. The answer is the one on the left was created by the computer AI, the one on the right is created by a human being. But there's not a lot in it. But I don't think that's the point here. It illustrates the point, but it's not the entire point. It doesn't matter if it's beautiful or if it's hard to distinguish one from the other, something that's been made by a computer or something that's been made by a human. But in this case, what we want to look at is something that can help us make a process easier, something that can assist us, something that can take a time-consuming task and trim it down, give us somewhere to start from. So we're going to look at a real-world example. By the way, please do add questions if they come up. If there's anything you can think of that you want to ask us, please do put that in the chat and we'll try and surface those and get through those as we go along. But what I've done is I've taken a specific real-world example where using AI generative images can assist us in an example design task. There are so many design tasks where AI can help and does help and will get better, but I've just picked one as an example. So what we're going to look at here, I've opened up Photoshop. This won't be a tutorial on the ins and outs, the details of how to use Photoshop. I'm going to presume that you've already got a bit of a head start on that, so forgive me if this is completely new to you. But what we're looking at here is a website mock-up. It's just the hero, just the top section of a website. This is a sort of a travel adventure website that I'm putting together, and this may be a very familiar point in the process to many designers. So what we're looking at here is the hero section, the very top bit of the website, and I have no photo. I just have blocks, I have a bit of navigation, I have some text, I have my main title here, but no image that really sets this off. This grey block in the background is looking pretty dull. So what I want to do is I want to get a photo in here, a photo that helps set the scene and sells the business. In an ideal world, in the dream project, you will get given good photography. That will be provided for you and it'll just work and you'll be told where to put it. But increasingly, what often happens is the budget doesn't always stretch to good photos and you have to struggle to find something. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at a few different platforms that can help with generative images. So let's get stuck in. The first one is called Midjourney. Very successful, quite well known, and probably one of the industry leaders in generative images. So if you arrive at the Midjourney website, you will get a quick start guide that we're looking at here. You'll get the getting started section. All very useful, well documented, and very descriptive. You'll notice a few things straight away. First of all, it's not free. So you can see the basic plan, they've got a standard plan, a pro plan, and there's obviously a cost attached here. The next thing that you can see, it starts talking about using this service called Discord. So why is Midjourney telling me to use something else? We'll get into that. But it's not a straightforward process. There are lots of steps involved and it can be a bit confusing for newcomers. Thankfully, their help section is very thorough. There's lots of documentation out there. But it does mean that you have to use another service in order to get the most out of using Midjourney. So what is it? Well, you have to use Discord. I have another tab here, which I prepared earlier. This is Discord. It's essentially kind of a forum. That's a very nondescript way of describing this, but it's a platform into which there are channels and rooms, and people can go in those rooms and create things in this instance. So what are people doing? Okay, so people are entering text prompts. Here's one as an example. Someone's asked for a human, male, rogue, steampunk goggles, fine work clothes, D&D character concept art. It doesn't read like a normal sentence. These are comma-separated prompts, and the AI is clever enough to make sense of these and create something based on them. Remember, these images, I'll keep saying this today, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. They don't exist. So this was not put together by a human. This is a collection of sources and prompts that the AI engine has gone and found based on those text prompts. Those are pretty good looking images. If you're doing something like an illustrative piece of work for perhaps a video game, that would look really good. These are all publicly visible because of the way Discord is set up. You will need an account to access it. And in this environment, you can see the text prompts that other people are adding to generate these images. If I had paid upfront to use Midjourney, I could create my own. We're not going to cover that. I just thought I'd give you a flavor of what people are entering. Here's a good one. Alternative ways of imaging yin-yang. And the output's pretty good on that. That looks really cool. I like those. With some of these, it's only when you really start to inspect them. Alternative ways of showing a low battery. Not a very descriptive prompt, but some quite interesting images coming out there. Midjourney, is worth saying, very good at generating very human-looking photographs. Very, very... Yes, there's another example. Man, 40-year-old, square shoulders, facial burn, bald, and black beard. Very accurate, very... I mean, that could almost be a photo that's been edited a little bit in post-processing, but some really, really good. And then what you can see is, as you scroll down, the person who was previously asking about this this alternative yin-yang, they've chosen image number 4, and then it can create variations on one that stands out. So these are all the prompts. You can see this person is now editing slightly the text prompt. So as you work through, you can pick a version of one of these images and edit it further. Again, some really good, some of the same. Here's a good one. Illustration. So it doesn't just do photos. You can use illustrative styles as well. Silhouette, an EV scooter on an Indonesian street. That looks brilliant. That looks really, really good. So it just gives you a flavor for the kinds of images that can be created, edited, manipulated through Midjourney, as an example. Okay, so the next generative tool we're going to look at is Adobe Firefly. Adobe looks something like this, Firefly, when you land on the main web page. And a couple of benefits that Adobe has over Midjourney. First of all, it's free. That's a pretty big plus point. The other one is they've separated their tools out into a few different elements. So you've got text to image, which is the one we're going to use in just a minute. Generative fill, which takes text prompts to add things to existing images. Text effects, which, as you can see here, has created some letters in a very fluffy, vibrant style. Generative recolor, always useful if you're not wanting to spend the time of getting into the nitty-gritty of recoloring. And they've got some coming soon images, tools which are based around 3D. But they were just going to look at using Adobe Firefly to generate something using a text prompt. My text prompt is something that I've already created. As you log in, you get all of these example images, and as you mouse over them, you can see the example text prompt that has been used to create that image. We've got an adorable otter pup. We've got a canoe on a calm lake at sunrise. Again, it looks amazing. I'll click on that so you can see an example. It looks amazing, and again, that doesn't exist. That's not a real photo. That's all created by Adobe Firefly based on other pictures of similar things that it collates together. Very clever stuff. Very, very clever stuff. But this isn't the text prompt I want to use. Remembering, if we switch back to Photoshop, I want to find a photo that fits with my theme, that meets the needs of this project. So I'm looking for a kind of a travel-based image. I have already got my text prompt saved. I'm just going to open up my sticky notes to get that. Let's get rid of all of these. There's my text prompt, which I'm going to add down here. Okay, my text prompt is a young romantic couple sitting together watching a dramatic, beautiful sunset. Big city, landscape, golden hour lighting, dramatic clouds. So that's what I'm going to be using to set my scene. And if I hit the big blue generate button down here, we get, and it thinks about it. Another plus point, very quick using these systems. And there we go. Straight away, we've got 4 images which match our text prompt. Let's have a look through those. First one, generally okay. This is the first time I've seen this, so you'll see my honest reactions. The clouds look good, the city looks good, the people generally okay if you blur your eyes slightly, but again, it's only when you start to inspect the details. To my eye, honestly, that looks more like an ankle than a hand, so let's reject that one. Again, really good sky, good city, slightly odd on profile. The fabrics look really good in this one, but there's some weird blurring and some artifacts. Generally okay. Again, not bad. It's proving very good at creating roughly realistic looking clouds and backgrounds, but it's when it gets down into the fine details of a hand, like that's wrong and that's wrong. Don't like that one. Not so keen. This one's good. I like this one. Yeah, the lighting is really good. The scene setting is good. I quite like, although there's not much city, there's a lot of river there. Yeah, but the people look much better on that one. And we're back to the beginning. So I'm kind of happy with those, but we could see some improvements. Now, this is the thing about generative images. They're not always perfect. There's still a lot to do, particularly when it comes to the fine details of hands, for some reason, prove quite tricky for these systems. But Adobe Firefly generally is very good at this. Now, the other thing that it scores pretty highly on is the editing and the options that we have down here on the right-hand side. So we can switch between photo and art, so it doesn't have to be a photo. It can be a more artistic style. We can vary subtle things like the visual intensity and the strength. We can upload a reference image if we have something we want to base it on to begin with. Really, really useful. For years, Adobe has been creating really powerful photographic effects. So those are all baked in here. We can also change some really interesting things like color and tone. So if we wanted to, okay, yeah, vibrant colors, that sounds good. Let's go vibrant. Let's change the lighting to golden hour. That's good. We could change it to low lighting or multi-exposure if you wanted to get that sort of HDR effect. You can even change the composition. These don't match quite what I'm after. Landscape, close up, through a window. Useful, don't need it, so I'm going to leave that on none. There are other settings. You can even change things like the aperture and shutter speed and stuff. Some very cool editing controls. But for now, I'm just going to add these 2 settings. I'm going to hit generate again. And it effectively wipes the board. It will start fresh. It won't base it on any one of those images. You can, if you want to, pick one of those and further develop it. But here we're just going to go for a clean slate. So let's see what it comes up with. Okay, like this. Good. That's much more the lighting style that I was thinking of. This looks much better now. The hand around the back is good. They look a little bit uncomfortable then. That's a good one. I like that one. Really nice lighting, and you can see the edging around hair is often where it like a sort of green screen background, it can sometimes fall over there, but that looks really, really good. Fabric looks good. from a distance, that could be a real photo. Very happy with that one. Looks okay, but the couple look a bit awkward. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah, all of those are really good. Now, the editing abilities for each image then go even deeper. So you don't just have to take what you've got there. You can download that one. You can then apply generative fill. As I said before, you could select an area. Let's say you wanted to select an area in the sky and you said, I want to add a flock of birds. It can do that. You could use that one as your style reference and create versions of that. Or if you didn't have access to the full Photoshop suite, you could send this image into Adobe Express, which is a much lighter version, but still very powerful photo editing, image editing tool. Do things like adding text over the top, removing a background, applying further filters. So if you wanted to make a quick social media post based on an image like this, you could add text over the top and you're ready to go. So some very powerful tools there that Adobe have all built into this one platform. It's free, it's easy to use, it's super quick, it's intuitive. I love it. It's really, really good. A great starter. Okay, we've got a couple more to look at. The next one is based on something called DALL-E 3 to be specific, which you can access in different ways. Now, the way I want to point out today is through Microsoft Bing. I've never been a big Bing user, always been a Google person. Horses for courses, it comes baked into most PCs, so that's fine, and a lot of people will have easy access to it. So, why is this one good? Well, again, a bit like when you first log into Firefly, you can see all of these example images. It's got a Halloween theme just because of the time of year, and some Christmassy images, very autumn coming through there. And again, as you mouse over, it shows you the prompts that have been used to create these. So you could, if you wanted to, if you saw something you liked on this page, you could start with one of these and base your image on that. Or we can paste our same text prompt, which is there, same text prompt we gave to the last one. I've added that in here. I'm going to hit the enter button and that will start to create. This time we get a nice little slider so you can see the progress, and we'll see what this one comes up with. Now that's only given me one image, okay? Normally you get 4, it's given me one as an example. It's a bit blurry, but you see as you click on it, it sharpens up and you get a more crisp version of it. That looks really good. I'm very happy with that one. The people look really realistic. Man's got a top quiff just like mine, looking really smooth. The composition's good. I quite like the way they're over to one side of the photo on that one, and the lighting is really nice there. We can download, we can customize. That will take it into another editing engine, a bit like Adobe Express, the Microsoft version, from where you can turn that into a flyer, a social media post, loads more tools. So you can see it's very quick, it's very simple. DALL-E as an image creator by default isn't free, but the way that Microsoft uses it is to give you a credit system. That's the number that's up here in the corner. So you can see if I click on this little icon, I get this sidebar come up. In true Microsoft style, it's horribly over-designed and a bit complex. But in essence, what it's saying is you can do things to earn more credits in order to use DALL-E as an image creator. What do you have to do? You basically just have to use Bing as a search engine. Sometimes they'll ask you just to do searches and you'll earn points that you can use as credits to access DALL-E. You could fill in a questionnaire and they're super simple. It takes, a minute, and then you'll earn a bunch more credits and you can create images like this that otherwise you might have to pay for. So a very powerful way, very quick and easy way that you can access the tool with, I'll be honest, pretty good results. These are some I did previously, and you can see the kind of thing that it's coming up with. Really good lighting effects, really good city. I love the coloring on this one. Again, the people look great. The fabrics look amazing on that one. That does look like it's a photo. Really good composition. The workings of the mechanics of the people look really good, and really good results. So I'm happy with that one. The downside of this one is you don't have as much image editing that you do from Adobe, but it's pretty good. The last one I want to touch on, but I'm not going to use for obvious reasons. This is the comedy option. This is Dream Studio, which uses stable diffusion. Now I typed in the same prompt here, and the first one it gave me back was this, which is all kinds of wrong. Now the city looks good, if not a little bit big. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this. It's just all kinds of wrong. There's an arm round there. There's maybe a headless person, I'm not sure. There's also too many. I asked for a couple, don't give me 3. That's, too many. And again, maybe DALL-E or Microsoft doesn't understand the concept of a couple, but you get one thrown in for free. That's a bonus. That also looks a very uncomfortable way to put your arm around on someone's shoulder. Doesn't look comfortable. But other than that, the light is good, the clouds are good, the city's okay. It's nicely composed. It's just the content is a bit off when you start to inspect the details. So we're not going to use that one. What we're going to do for my example, which remember is this, I want to get a nice photo in here. I'm going to use an image that I've created previously, which was, down here. It was this one. Okay, so this was one I ran previously, not that one, this one. And of these images, I thought this was the best because, again, the people look good, the fabrics look real, and I like the way they're over to one side, the composition works, the lighting's good. So I've downloaded this previously in proper Blue Peter style, and I've got that open down here. Let's open that. So here's my photo. Here's my website mockup. If you know Photoshop, you know that you can use smart layers, very clever things. I'm going to open up my smart layer, which is the layer in the background, which holds the background image. And I'm just going to drop this straight in there. It's a little smaller. You can upscale photos. I know that for print, this wouldn't work. You shouldn't really upscale. For what we're doing here, it'll be fine, don't worry about it. It's still pretty crisp and clear. If I save that and then come back to my website mockup, boom, straight away, it's in there. The composition again lends itself really well because we've got an opacity on this navigation bar. That works really well with the clouds in the background. But the obvious, even untrained eye will recognize that this is a square image in a landscape shape, and we need to extend this somehow. You could, if you wanted to, just expand that so it filled the rectangle as a square, but then the more you zoom in, the less detail you get. So we want to just increase this image, and it's been the dream of designers for years to just be able to go, oh, I wish you could reshoot this in a different format. We don't need to anymore because we've got tools also built into Photoshop. So I'm going to select this blank area that has nothing in it. And by default in Photoshop 2024 onwards, and in the beta, which I think everybody can get access to, you get this little textual bar. So in here we have a generative fill button. If I hit that, I have the option for a text prompt, but if I leave it blank and just hit generate, it will go and think about it. It will analyze the rest of the image, and then it will fill that space based on what's in the rest of the image. So the progress bar ticks along and gives us that, which is pretty good. We also get variations. So we can click on version 1, version 2. I think I prefer that one. Meh, that one not so much. Now, as I click through them, you can obviously see there's a line very faintly, But if that was your first glance at that image, if that was your first, I prefer the clouds in that one. Yeah. If that was your first glance, you probably wouldn't be able to, hard push to tell. Okay, I'm going to save that image again. Just hit Command S or Control S, come back to my website design. I'm done. That's it. You can send that to your boss and go home because you're done for the day. That is a cracking image produced in a matter of minutes to meet a specific need for a project. Sure, if you go in and inspect it, you might find odd quirks and odd artifacts in the image. But to quickly and effectively, and with really good results, and for next to no or zero cost, that is a pretty good way of generating a really good image. The other benefit is this is completely royalty free. You don't own that image, but you can use it as you see fit, and you don't have to plaster your website with Commons licenses or referencing photographers, and you haven't had to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on creating that image. So we've been set a challenge, we've sourced a few options, we've tried a few different variants, and we've found something that fits the brief. I'm really happy with that. I think that's a really good image. There's loads of other examples where you can use AI in these processes to create something. This is just an example. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into the ways in which we can use AI in the design process. So that was my real world example. So what have we learned today? We have dabbled with Midjourney. If we could sum that up, very good results, very, very good results. Really realistic looking people, skin tones, and you can create variants of those images. The downsides, maybe you might not see this as a downside, but it's not free. It's not tremendously easy to access, but once you've used it a few times, and if you have budget for it, you can produce really, really spectacular results. The other interesting thing where Midjourney is going is actually in animation and video graphics. You can take those photos and create video prompts as well. Adobe Firefly, free to use, huge plus point, very flexible, very versatile. Not perfect results every time, kind of still technically in beta, but they're working it out and it's getting better all the time. We looked at the Bing image creator, which is based on DALL-E 3. Again, free to use, using their credit system, very good results, but not hugely versatile. So there's pros and cons to all of these. Dream Studio based on Stable Diffusion. I know there's other ways to access Stable Diffusion. This was the one we used today. Initially free with a paid option. Pretty easy to use, but not great results in my experience. If you've used it and it's been good for you, fantastic. And what's next? Where do we go from here? Well, there are many different ways that AI can be used as a tool to speed up, ease up these processes. Personalized user journeys, so more than just what HubSpot can do, and I would imagine HubSpot is exploring this area, but imagine being able to use an AI system to speed up A/B testing. Imagine being able to use AI systems to create better, more intelligent personalized user journeys rather than waiting passively for users to put things in their basket or click on certain links. We could use AI to make those guesses and presumptions based on behavior. Huge scope there. Automated user testing, a massive part of the overall product design lifecycle. It would be great if you could feed your website, your app, your digital product into an AI engine and say, use this service, use this system, use this tool as if you were this user persona. And you have all of these needs. Maybe you have these accessibility issues. Maybe you have these goals that you want to achieve. Go and use it and come back to me with a report. Where do you get stuck? Where do you drop out the funnel? Which route in do you find the most frictionless? And that would be fantastic to produce a report based on as close as you can get to real user testing. Accessibility testing, another huge area, really, really important. There are real-time integration plugins with design tools, but I would like to see these improved and enhanced and refined so that in real time we can make good design decisions for making services more accessible. And also making sense of research data. Let me chuck a whole load of user testing research data, raw data, video files, text transcripts. Let me put all of that into an AI engine and have that create a report for me, even if it's an initial go at a report based on that data, and then humans can refine it. That would be tremendously helpful. There's so many things that we haven't had time to touch on today, that we haven't had time to look into. There are many, many more tools out there and many ways of creating really good images and easing up the whole design process. We've just picked one today. Hopefully that's been useful for you. And yeah, that's all for today. You can use the QR code there if you're interested in finding out more about Spyrosoft and the careers we've got available. There are lots out on the website. I'm just having a quick scan of some of the questions that have come in. Somebody said, what was the name of the first tool that was discussed? The first one was Midjourney. Thank you very much for answering. Designing product interfaces and services requires a broader context, without which AI is reduced to a text or image data. Yes, it can just be that. Or it can augment other things. Yesterday's OpenAI presentation showed us the direction of AI will be and how important interface design will be for users. I'm curious to hear your opinion on the presented innovation. Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I hope that we've touched on some of those innovations and how they can be used in the future of UX design. But like I said, there's loads more opportunities. When I hear someone like Elon Musk say, none of us are going to need to have jobs because AI will take over, I just instinctively squint because I just feel dubious that that's really where it's going. Give it 50 years, I could be completely wrong. But I don't know. I think there still needs to be an element of human steering and flow and direction, and we need to take this thing and point it in the right direction. I think it's brilliant at the moment for prompts and the beginnings of things from which we can take something on and refine it and perfect it. Yeah, maybe that hasn't answered your question. But if you want more from us, then please do get in touch. Is that all of our questions? Is that everything that's come in? Okay, super. There will be more in this series. Please do stay tuned via LinkedIn or via our website. The QR code is there. You can follow me on X, the social media service formerly known as Twitter, or LinkedIn. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you also to Sandra and Maria, who were just off screen, making this whole thing entirely seamless and pain-free. So thank you, and thank you for your time.